Right.
So Rob is the one to blame.
Right.
I
Blame
don't know.
Rob.
I mean, I'm trying to think, like, do we really have that much and that many weather incidents? I guess we're
Yeah.
looking at the whole nation,
It's
region.
such a cascading kind
Right,
of
the
thing.
ripple
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah, it really is.
For instance, I know we were looking at a system, a larger system
On Sunday
night, which
Yeah.
could cause issues.
And I've been very vocal about being cautious
Mm-hmm.
too far out and narrowing down details. We've known that something was going to be on the horizon, and I know people want details, but you have to let the science tell you what we can and what we can't tell you.
Yeah.
Let me kind of break down the big points here.
Okay.
Here's what we're looking at. We're looking at the last day above freezing. That's today. After that, it is going to be cold for at least a week. We're talking below freezing. Light snow is expected for tonight. I covered that a little bit earlier. Just know that it's going to be around an inch, give or take a half an inch to maybe an inch, depending on whether you're north or south of Indy. And then in red here, the Sunday system. It's going to bring a chance of snow and, more importantly, the possibility of ice. And that's where things get a little more interesting. Now, I don't want to throw the control room off here. I'm showing the 7-day much earlier than I normally would. And the reason why I'm doing that is because that red corresponds with the Sunday. The reason I'm showing it to you is because it's still 1, 2, and 3 days out. And it's just now getting into the comfortability stage, the medium confidence stage. Once we get into tomorrow, by I'd say about noon, we should be able to really focus in on some of the details. There are things we know and things we don't know. Now, that's not just me hedging my bets. There's science behind this. What's happening is the system that we're watching that's eventually going to move this way. It's way out over the Pacific. And we use a lot of these computer models, but the computer models are only as good as the data that goes into them. Until this system arrives on shore and gets sampled by all of the different observing sites, by flights that are flying through this system, all of that data that can then get put into the computer models, and we get a much clearer, much better image of what eventually will form, it hasn't even formed yet, across parts of the central part of the country, and then eventually move our way. The complication now, as we're really starting to see this unfold, is where is the track of this exactly going to be and how much warm air will move in. So we have a pretty high confidence that there's going to be some snow in Indiana with some ice. We have medium confidence in the storm track. Looks like southern Indiana will have a better chance for the heavier precipitation, and I'm saying it that way on purpose. We have low confidence in exactly how much snow and ice, and those two are related, we could see. But here's what we're expecting. At some point, this may start as a little bit of snow sometime early Sunday morning. Then we may see some of that warmer air try to ride over top of this, change some of it to ice. And by the way, keep in mind, you can take this whole system and slide it south or slide it north once that sampling happens that I talked about. After that, this may change back over to a little bit of snow, and this would be light, fluffier snow, which can really pump up the snowfall totals. I'm not comfortable enough showing you snowfall totals just yet. Just know that we are watching this. The science is just not going to be able to give you a great idea of what to expect, but someone in Indiana could see some significant snow totals. Meanwhile, after that, we're expecting a cooler forecast, maybe a little bit of that lingering snow on Monday. Traffic-wise, well, it's not a bad day out there. We do have a couple of traffic spots that we're tracking, especially Interstate 69 as you approach 465, let's say past 96th Street. This is an area that we're going to keep our eye on. There was a leftover disabled vehicle that we were tracking. Things are starting to improve a bit. I've been watching many of the traffic cameras. There's 69 at 69th, and it's flowing pretty smoothly. We're also starting to see the slowdown happen right at the north split as traffic comes into the city. Not as bad, though, as it has been on some of our heavier volume days.